Andrew Whipple here with Gamer's Guide to Life, and I'm here with Chris from Arcen Games, Valley Without Wind. This is an awesome looking title. Chris, please let us know what this title's about.
Well, the short version is that it's essentially in a style of a Metroidvania-style side-scrolling action platformer, but the difference is you actually have choice in what you do. It's not a series of levels that are handed to you. You actually start out weak, the Overlord is strong, you got to get that guy, he's oppressing everybody, and you have to figure out how to get through that. Do it yourself.
Okay, now, we know that the levels are generated procedurally. Now, how is it different than something like Castlevania or the Metroids? Could you expand on that?
With those ones, they're so intricately designed, and that's an awesome thing. I mean, that's what makes Metroidvania titles Metroidvania, partly. So calling this a Metroidvania title is almost a little bit of a stretch. But that's the thing, because this isn't, define it, right? This is open world, which everybody's familiar with by now. And so instead of having constant barriers that you just cannot pass, you're into all sorts of somewhat softer obstacles. There are multiple ways to solve, but will kill you dead if you don't do it one of many right ways. And the cool thing is, you can use some of that gray matter and say, well, I'm thinking of a new cool way that nobody's ever thought of to overcome this solution, which is something you don't get in a Metroidvania game. There is one solution to each problem, and it will require your gray matter too. But you can also go on a GameFAQ site or whatever, and there's the answer. There's one answer. And with this, it's just more of a back and forth. We started out as strategy game developers, and we take that mentality to the side view. So.
Yeah, it sounds incredible. And being an absolutely huge Castlevania fan, I just want to let you know that what I've seen so far, I'm in. Like I'm totally in with this. This is a title I've been waiting to see more of.
Awesome. That's great.
But what I would really like to know is, you had mentioned the Overlord,
right?
The overarching antagonist. Now, if you could go and beat this guy down right from square one, how is that going to work? Because you're not strong enough, since the levels are just randomly generated. How does it work? How can you find him but still go to other places?
Well, it's not entirely from the side view. There's a world map that it's a top-down thing, and so you can each tile on there is a region. You can go into absolutely any region you see on the continent. So you see some ice area, you go in there, it's ice. You see grasslands, you go in there, it's grass. You go all around, and the Overlord has his icon on there where his castle is. So if you want to go over there, there's really strong, bad guys outside the castle, then 6 floors of evil tower itself, and then the Overlord and his 3 lieutenants all there together if you don't kill the lieutenants first at their own keeps elsewhere. So if you want to go and take your hand at I'll go get those guys right from the start, woohoo! You can give that a shot, and let me know how that works out for you. Usually not so well, but the idea is you get to decide, well, when am I ready for the big boss showdown? Well, I don't know, you can try it now if you want to.
Is it actually possible to beat him at one?
If you're so good at dodging bullets that you just don't take any hits at all, and you don't mind plinking away at him with way underpowered spells like a little pea shooter, I'd say it's possible. I don't know that it would be that fun, but for somebody who's like trying to prove that they're like the ultimate gamer man, I guess, sure, maybe. But
ultimate gamer man. All right. Well, why don't you tell us a little bit about the skills of the game? Because like in Castlevania, like in Symphony of the Night, you could turn into the wolf, you could turn into the mist to get into secret areas and such. How is the skill system going to work in this game?
We have a couple of different general magical systems. So one is spells that you craft, and these are reusable constantly. So most of these are there are some that are like movement effects, like getting a lightning boosted double jump or things like that. There are also ones that like Storm Dash that lets you run fast. So almost kind of like the Sonic the Hedgehog thing, and you can leap off of these ramps that just shoot you across over water and stuff.
Yes.
And so you can really, depending on what spells you use, the way you move around the levels can be completely different. Then there's also these limited ammo things called spell scrolls that you find out in the wild as you're like scavenging abandoned buildings and so forth. So there's a transmogrify into bat scroll, for instance. You find those in underground buildings, you can turn yourself into a bat. You better have another one or you're going to be stuck as a bat until you until you die or find another scroll. But you can fly when you're in a bat, so you don't have to worry about jumping. But your defense goes down, and your amount of offense that you're able to do is also drastically lower.
You can choose skills and such, right?
Yeah, and so there's all that brings to the third category of magic, which are enchants, which are things that you apply to your body, which can make you emit light, breathe underwater, do all these other various sorts of things, including compensating for some of the drawbacks of, say, being a weak bat, put on some power buff stuff, and make a bit of a stronger bat, things like that.
Excellent. Now, you had mentioned that there is actually multiplayer in this game. Could you tell us about that real quick?
Yeah, basically you set up a server like any sort of first-person shooter game or Minecraft or whatever. You can host your own server, and then people connect into it, and they all adventure together. There's a continent, and all the monsters, when you're working together, the monsters are appropriately stronger, so you still have a fun time. If you all just want to be antisocial and go your own ways, then the monsters are, appropriate for however many people are in the area you're specifically at.
Excellent. When do you expect this game drops? April 23rd?
April 23rd, it'll be out on Steam, and that's our 1.0 as well, so that'll be the start of hopefully a longer post-development cycle. So
at approximately what price?
It'll be $15, so then you can get it for $10 now at pre-order discount. So,
well, you need to get ahead of the game. It looks fantastic. Chris, thank you very much.
Thank you.